nothing much, but we have a very interesting game ahead. It's ELEX, and I'll be welcoming Jennifer and Bjorn from THQ Nordic to tell us more about this interesting post-apocalyptic RPG. Is that correct?
Yes.
Right, so there's an interesting thing in the game, because there's a moral dilemma in the game when you choose your role. What is it about?
Yeah, it's about so it's a post-apocalyptic science fantasy game. So a meteor came down to the planet and destroyed almost everything, and with it a new substance, a new element came to the world. It's called ELEX. And if you consume it too much, you will lose all your emotion.
Yeah, so you have a choice between either being powerful but emotionless, or just still be a human being but without the power.
Yes, right.
And that's an interesting choice that you have to make during the game.
Yeah,
right,
it has many consequences. Yeah? The main thing we wanted to produce is to give you the freedom. Yeah? Freedom. The choice is what you faction you join, yeah, because it's a big deal in the game. You join a faction. Yeah? You are in the first hours. You are banned from your own faction, the Alps, who consume these ELEX a lot, and then they have no emotions anymore, but strong magicians, and they want to take over the world itself. So, and want to get the next step in evolution and so on. They are more the bad guys of the world, yeah. And you were one of them, and now you get the first time in your life you get emotions, yeah. And so you are you're facing the three people you once fought, and therefore you have to choose which way to go. And we have a science fantasy universe in a post-apocalyptic world, yeah. And that means we have a medieval faction, we have outlaws, more like Mad Max faction, Mad Max style, and the sci-fi part we call the clerics. And so the mixture of all these things is all about.
All right, well, that sounds interesting. Carnage,
yes.
Are you taking ELEX?
I'm taking it in. I just keep thinking, like, what would I do if I had a chance to either become like a superhuman or have no emotions? I'd just get rid of those emotions.
Yeah,
because I'm practically emotionless anyways.
Exactly.
So I think the world that we live in is pretty much in that direction too. So I'll just become superhuman. What an interesting game. What an interesting concept. Is this... was this a game before that's being picked up and remade? This was a game that was being worked on before, right? And then now being re-released almost, right?
No. It was the idea of the game in our minds 10 years ago.
10 years ago,
yeah,
right, yeah.
But it was only an idea,
okay.
Yeah. We are Piranha Bytes, and we are a small company from a German region we call Ruhrpott, yeah? Ruhrpott,
okay,
yes.
All right.
And it's Ruhrgebiet, and so we produced the Gothic series, yes, as we might know, and the Risen series, yeah. And so always was it fantasy only, yeah? And so we thought about making new setting, new cool stuff, not only to produce only stools and tables of the ancient ones and medieval stuff and stuff like that, only barrels, and so we couldn't see it anymore. And so we like fantasy.
Right.
We always, even in this game, we have fantasy parts, yeah. But it was a great push in the company when we said, okay, now we can do anything we want, yeah. Broken cars and stuff like pump guns and chain swords and stuff like that, and then we had really fun to make this kind of game.
So you were just keep on doing the same thing, and you're like, what else can we do? We're tired of making just Gothic towers and all this darkness around us all the time.
Yeah.
I love it, man.
This time it's just happy post-apocalyptic world.
Happy post-apocalyptic. You're right, like Mad Max people. Is anyone happy in this world? Is this a really sad place? Are people just like okay with having superhuman powers and being emotionless?
Oh, I think so. The outlaws, for example, have lots of fun in their hometown. Yes, because they want to. They rob others, and they craft their own stuff with mean weapons, for example. But they also have nice bars, for example, and some kind of drugs. We call them stims that push their abilities. and yeah, there can have fun.
Good.
What is the main quest of the game? What is the main story? What is it about?
What it means to be human, yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Because
interesting.
because it's not only the good and evil stuff, yeah, as we in the past did, yeah, the
Right.
same, yeah. It's more like, are you a rational machine guy or are you human? Human, Pascal. You have emotions, yeah. And when you only think about rational decisions, yeah, doesn't matter if someone dies because that or something else, yeah, or you are a really evil guy, or you have empathy or something like that. That's more the human part of the game, yeah. And so it's very interesting to see how the players decide their way through this game, yeah. We have multiple endings here, yeah. Every main character has his own opinion about what you do, yeah. And in the end, even when you end the game after the credits, yeah, you have an end game, yeah, and you can go to every main character you met in this game, yeah, and ask him about his opinion about what you did and what next, your role
That's
in the
interesting.
world and stuff like that, yeah.
There's a lot of storytelling,
Yes,
including every single time you play the game. That's super cool.
Yeah.
Wanted to ask about any other features that the game has. That's something that is unique, or maybe something that we're very proud of the game.
Yes, many things. So it's a really, really huge game. It's about 1.5 times bigger than Gothic 3, for example.
And that was a big one.
Yes, it was a big
Yeah, it was
one.
big.
There are many different countries and climate zones in the continent. You can explore everything, every cellar, every country without any loading zone at all. And you can explore it with a jetpack.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's we call it vertical exploration. If you see a point, you can reach it, and this is very interesting and makes a lot of fun.
Another special feature we have is we call it simulated game world. There are games where are hubs where you only can talk to somebody and not fight. And there are hubs in those games where you only can fight but not talk. In our game is one big game world. Yeah, that means you go into a city, and when you commit crimes or something like that, yeah, they remind that, and they report it to their leader. Yeah, we call him the Punisher. Yeah, and so he says, okay, you have to pay for your crimes here, and, or else, and or else means that you are forbid to trade. Yeah, it goes so far in steps, yeah, that they send a headhunter after you and stuff like that. It's a very free world, yeah. You can every NPC in the world could be the first one you meet there, and you can choose your own way. Though we tell a story in 4 chapters, yeah, and it's all embedded in this main story, yeah. Many dialogues you can have there. We have almost 300,000 spoken words in there, and so yeah, that's really
really
huge
impressive
game. Yeah.
It's really impressive. It will take a lot of time to complete that. One last question. I actually heard, Björn, that you actually did like the soundtrack for the game?
Yes, I did. Yeah, that was the first time. I make music for 25 years now,
Wow.
but only for myself. Yeah, and that it was the time to say, okay, this time I will make the soundtrack. Yeah.
That is awesome. Can't wait to hear that, actually.
Okay.
Thank you very much for coming to
Yeah.
us at the Twitch stage and talking and speaking about the ELEX. Hopefully we'll see the game soon. What exactly? What's the date of the release?
October the 17th.
Yeah, for
This year.
Soon.
Yeah.
Just
That's
soon.
like just
Yes.
around the corner.
Wow.
Yeah, it's around the corner.
All right. Thank you very much again for coming. From me and Connor, that's it. And then we're going to go to a break.